breaking the wall to inspire action through STEM learning. Kaylene Cooper, the University of Queensland, Australia.
Climate change, AI, oceans rising very high, Climate change, AI, oceans rising very high, microplastics, food supply, STEM space explorations on the line, renewables, vaccines, so many STEM skills we might need. Oh, I lost my breath. And the students aren't inspired, STEM literacy declining, maybe we could guide them. The next generation has a lot of problems to solve, and we need to ensure that every student has the STEM skills necessary to tackle issues like climate change. But in Australia, STEM literacy scores have declined, and the number of students taking science in senior schooling has dropped. In fact, 40% of Australians don't believe humans cause climate change. And this is only worse when we ask one question: where did you grow up? I grew up here in Rockhampton in Queensland, a state bigger than 91% of actual countries. And in blue is Queensland's metropolitan region, half the population, half the school students, a high socioeconomic area. But it's the students in the grey, rural, regional and low socioeconomic areas that have lower scientific literacy scores on average. In fact, rural students often lag 1.5 years behind their metro counterparts in science by just 15 years of age. And we need to reach these students before they fall behind, before they opt out of science, before the age of 15. And research shows that effective STEM role models can increase participation in science, but the majority of role models in universities are located here. I grew up in the grey, a young girl on the poverty line aspiring to be a paleontologist, and I had no role models to guide me, so I wished that I had had someone to guide me. Enter Wonder of Science. We've coordinated over 400 PhD students called Young Science Ambassadors from 3 universities to visit schools across Queensland to inspire students aged 9 to 14. And the ambassadors bring STEM to life in the classroom, but they also are there to help students with term-long research projects. The ambassadors visit multiple times to support them in hands-on, inquiry-based projects called challenge tasks. And we have over 25 challenge tasks, each complete with teacher lesson plans, and they cover everything from climate change to the best launch angle for a rocket, 45 degrees. And it's really incredible. Some of the students answer questions like, how can we generate sustainable electrical energy? And this is all thanks to partnerships with industry and universities. And we even create unique challenge tasks with some of our partners, like this one, where students are working to use Indigenous knowledge and real science to develop a sustainable management plan for a real island in Queensland. And students also present their work at regional and state level conferences. Some like to dress up, and some even like to write a song. Sound familiar? In the past 12 years, it's actually been incredible to see even metro schools asking to take up the program. And we've developed new initiatives like Fly-In Scientist, where we send scientists to run community events in regional areas. And across our entire program, we've reached over 125,000 people. 97% of students say they would recommend Wonder of Science, and 75% of students have a greater interest in studying STEM after the program. Our ambassadors also report the incredible impact this has had on them. We've also won multiple awards, and excitingly, 80% of ambassadors and students winning state conference each year are female, which is absolutely incredible. And after this team of girls won in 2018 and came back in 2021, one of them said, I want to be a paleontologist. And as the ambassador and a paleontologist that went to that school, I was never more proud of those girls. And this is everywhere we've reached in Queensland, and we hope that with new funding, we can continue to support students like those in Mount Isa while expanding across Australia, even globally. Or to put it in the words of a Wonder of Science student, hands-on inquiry, ambassadors inspiring rural regions, Metro 2, and student conferences to do, tackling the big issues, climate science. We include breaking down walls every day and partnerships leading the way. Now the students are inspired. STEM once again exciting. We've brought back the wonder of science.
Questions? Yes, one here, and then...
Thank you, Kaylene. How do you engage teachers? Do they feel invaded? How do you deal with them?
So the way that we engage with and support teachers is that we create lesson plans that are flexible and adaptable for them. We go out to the teachers where we have funding for these regions to tell them about Wonder of Science, but the way that we get most of our teachers involved is because another teacher loved the program so much that they've been in it for 5 years, and they've asked those teachers to come and join it. So we do support the teachers with lesson plans and PD, but really they come to us because other teachers have had such a wonderful time.
Yeah.
Can you give us some examples of how you are concretely working with climate science, which is the theme of this conference?
Yeah. So aside from our sustainability task and the task that's specifically looking at an island off the coast of Queensland, which has a large climate focus, we have challenge tasks looking at how carbon dioxide can increase plant growth. We have challenge tasks looking at sustainable living and how climate change could affect that. And in fact, I believe the jury has a copy of all of our challenge tasks that do relate to climate change as well. Yeah.
We have, one in the back, middle.
If I understood correctly, PhD students are involved to deliver workshops or whatever?
Yes. So our PhD students are our young science ambassadors.
The question is, how do you recognize the time commitment of these PhD students because they have research?
That's an incredible question, yeah. And so we actually provide a bursary to PhD students for their volunteering in the program. So they receive an honorarium, so it's not just them volunteering their time, they're actually receiving an honorarium. At one of our universities, it also counts as points towards one of their career development programs for their PhD as well. So we're making sure that our ambassadors are rewarded for their time, yeah.
We have time for, yeah.
You mentioned 125,000 served or reached.
Reached.
How do you define what reach is?
So reach involves, I think it's about 3/4 of that is actually the full challenge task program over 10 years. The other reach is individual events, like our Flying Scientist events, for example. But the majority of our reach is 10-week programs where those students are actually meeting the scientists multiple times, where they have support from the teacher and lesson plans as well.
Yeah, we're getting really, really close to the 3 minutes, so I think we're going to wrap up there. Difficult decision.